going on, lads? It is the Midnight Kid. We're live in Los Angeles. I'm just after coming out of the Konami meeting room where PES 2020 is set up. Obviously, I'll be going back in a couple of minutes, just taking a quick break. So absolutely smashed the game yesterday for a good few hours. Played tons and tons of games. I've played a load this morning as well. Obviously, E3 was open earlier this morning, so it's going to be a longer day. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to kind of dive into my main impressions. I'm not going to go into too much depth because I think I'll be doing like a 20-30 minute video. I'm actually going to be Skype calling Sep sometime today or tomorrow. So check out his live stream if you want to ask me like real-time questions and stuff. So yeah, I mean, my initial impressions of the game. I think the first thing to say is like how the game looks and stuff. I mean, I know with the live stream it had some technical difficulties and stuff, but the camera angle does make a big change to the way that the look of the game is and the way that it's the presentation of the game and stuff. Obviously that goes along with the color scheme. Graphics, I would say that the graphics are touched up a bit. I mean, they're not the massive jump compared to like you'd be expecting from last year with PES 2018, 2 years ago, compared to PES 2019, which I thought was a huge upgrade. But it does look nicer. The players' faces look more natural. The mouths, the movements, when players collide and stuff, it looks good. So it's again a nice little kind of upgrade from what we had last year in PES 2019. It looks fresh. That's the biggest thing, is when last year with PES 2019, the camera was the same. It felt like, obviously the graphics were much improved from 18, but it felt not as fresh after like a couple of dozen games, whereas this does. And because of the camera angle, there's a little kind of dynamic movements with the camera when you score a goal, when you go in for a slide tackle, when you're jostling with a player and stuff like that. So it's a lot of stuff going on that the camera angle kind of takes into consideration. So I really like the camera angle, the graphics. The one thing I would say about the overall kind of gameplay, like the actual feel of the game and stuff, is that it is a lot more weighty than PES 2019. So in PES 2019, especially in the earlier builds, it was kind of like slightly weighty, but this is again something I think that they've worked on again, where like if you're running with a player, and there'll be a couple of images and videos that I'll be able to get. You probably saw the video or the image I shared of Vidal yesterday when he's kind of dragging back an intentional foul, last man back. It's stuff like that, but that also works two ways, because like Messi, we were actually playing a match there a couple of minutes ago, and Messi kind of got the ball and like literally like pushed. I think I'm actually not too sure who it was. Could have been Bellerin or someone like that. Like literally like just pushed him away while he was dribbling, in the process of dribbling, and it was all seamless, smooth, and free flowing. I will say that the bigger players like Giroud and Suarez, I think Suarez is probably the pick of the players like from a physical point of view. But the way I would describe PES 2020, if people are kind of like trying to get a paragraph or a sentence to describe it, is there's a lot of like little subtle kind of things that when you add them all together in the flow of a match, and from attacking and defending, passing the ball from left to right, long range passing, all that sort of stuff, shooting, when you add them all together, like it adds up to like a really different type of game. Like we must have played about 7 or 8 matches in a row against each other 1v1, against other people, against the com in co-op, against the com 1v1, and the flow of the match feels kind of like different to each game. Like one game I lost 5-0, the other game it was like a 1-0 victory to me, and I scored in the like injury time, like 105th minute or whatever, and there was a load of chances. So the gameplay itself is going to be fun. Obviously I'll get into all the game modes and stuff at a later date. I'm not going to go into Master League and stuff, because you know as much as I know, or what I'm allowed to talk about is as much as what's been released, unfortunately. So I'm going to respect that, obviously. And it's the same with any online modes. I know people are asking, like, ask about this, ask about that. I mean, at the end of the day, they show what they want to show. There's going to be so much more stuff coming in July, in August, at the PES World Finals, at the end of this month. One thing I will say, kind of not to have this all as a like fanboy kind of like slant on everything, because I did say, compared to last year, that I was going to look at the game from a technical point of view as well as a fan, in terms of people that just are interested in playing the best football game around on the market. I think that the actual 90 minutes of the game, it's very important that you play, like the demo you can choose 7, 8 or 10 minutes. It's such a different game when you play 10-minute matches. Because we were playing all 7 or 8 minute matches yesterday, and we switched today. It was like completely different types of games, even against the com. The com as well, for people asking, low cross bug or low cross kind of like tendencies with the computer, the way that they were attacking seems to be gone. Played Arsenal a couple of times, and Aubameyang was straight through on goal, had literally like only the goalkeeper to beat, and he just like banged it in, like, you know, from different varying ways out on the pitch. Like, it wasn't just run in and tap it around the keeper, it was like blasted, you know, finesse shots, tried to round the keeper. There was a lot of variation in that. One thing I would say, just to counteract that type of point, and something I fed back to the lads, is that there's still not enough fouls in the ebb and flow of a match. That's just what I found in it. So like, if you're going through a match and you've only got like 2 fouls, it's better. Like, it's hard to explain it, because the actual physicality and stuff, it is better, but they just seem to, like, the ref seems to let things go. It doesn't ever seem to be a point where, I don't know, it's hard to explain it. There doesn't ever seem to be a case where like there's going to be like 5 or 6 frees within the half, because the way that the game is designed and stuff is that it is kind of free flowing and smooth, and it's all about like when the players do come together now, it's actually smoother than it was last year, and it's better. Like, as I said, Messi pushes people off the ball when he's attacking with the ball, low centre of gravity and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in the game. I'm probably going to wrap it up there just for my first impressions. There's a lot of little things that add up to be a big kind of change on the pitch. The camera angle is new, obviously all the Master League stuff and that I can get into at a later date, but one thing I did mention was the power bar. The power bar is slightly tweaked so that like you can overhit passes, you can underhit passes, but the best players, like Busquets, is able to, like, he's a really good short passer. He never really, like, if he gets the ball one-time touch, he can kind of one-time touch it like around any angle, around any degree of difficulty. Whereas if you've got somebody like Umtiti who's going to try and first time through ball passing, as you would last year if you were like playing the ball around, it's harder to do it, like much harder. And he can overhit it, underhit it. He can actually just pass it where it goes into space and between 2 teammates. So that is cool as well. And the power bar, obviously that translates then to shooting. Like, it's way easier to overhit a shot. It's way easier to misjudge a shot and underhit it. And this is helped by a couple of player skills as well. But yeah, I'm going to end it there because there's a lot of people around. I'm going to go back in and play a couple of different games. Keep the questions coming in on PES Universe or at PES Universe on Twitter. And yeah, we'll have a couple of giveaways as well, including one of these speakers, so I'm pretty sick. But yeah, I've been a Minute Kid. Keep it locked to PES Universe. Talk to you in a bit. Peace.